episode of Off the Script Extra. I got news on Kenny Omega. What is the latest on Kenny Omega, and did he get out of his New Japan Pro Wrestling contract? The very latest from Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer. Let's talk about it.
Fill your glasses up and put your headphones in, because it's time for Off the Script. And all you fucking goons and assholes, get in line and hit subscribe, because it's time for Off the Script. Hit the like button and share it around. You can even pull your fucking pants down, because it's time for Off the Script with JD from New York 206, because it's time for Off the Script, because it's time for Off the Script.
You know, man, I look up and down the dirt sheets, and I look up and down the newsletters, and everything as it pertains to the Royal Rumble, nothing is new, man. Absolutely nothing is new. And normally that sucks because I have no topics to talk about. I don't even know what the topic is going to be for Saturday's Off the Script. Friday, being that it's right before pay-per-view, we're going to do the preview and predictions for both NXT and the Royal Rumble. But as far as the Royal Rumble event goes, nobody's talking. And normally I would have a problem with that. But this year, I'm not even going to mind it, man. I really am not going to mind it, because I am happy. I am really, really happy and excited that the WWE has kept everybody in the dark. I am glad WWE has kept everybody guessing as far as the Royal Rumble, man. And I honestly have no news. I have no news besides what we're going to talk about today. And Kenny Omega, on top of the Joes and the Ballers and, you know, everything going on with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman and Goldberg and Lesnar, Kenny Omega seems to be one of the most talked about names in professional wrestling. Because Sunday is Judgment Day. Will he show up? Will he be in the Royal Rumble? Is he leaving New Japan? I got news from Dave Meltzer. Finally, legit news from a legit source. Some of you may disagree with that, but you can't discredit his work, man. Meltzer and his reputation is one of the most legit and one of the most looked after in the industry. So if it's from Meltzer, clearly you got to report about it, because that's what's going to get people talking. Okay? I don't like Dave Meltzer. I don't think his news is really worthy. You know, we make fun of him. He gives answers like a magic 8-ball. You know, he's in the dark too, and he's got to keep quiet, because he's got his sources inside WWE. He's not going to reveal anything. He's not going to ruin any plans. He's probably on the fucking payroll for all we know. You know, but he is a legit source, and I'm subscribed to the newsletter, so that's how we get our information, man. And out of everybody else, being that he has the most reputable name, I'm going to report what he's saying more so than anybody else. And that's exactly what I did today. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. We're going to talk about Kenny Omega from the mouth of Dave Meltzer. The very latest on Kenny Omega's New Japan status. What he did as of Wednesday with a Q&A. People ask him about the Royal Rumble. His first response, the latest response I should say, from Kenny Omega about the Royal Rumble and where he is going to be and what his decision is going to be. It's coming down to Judgment Day. What is Kenny Omega going to do come January 29th? So that's the topic of today's video for Off the Script Extra. I want to thank everybody for watching me. I really do enjoy doing these extra videos, getting you guys ready for the weekend. It's going to be a massive fucking Friday episode, I'm telling you guys right now. Make sure you are there to watch Off the Script on Friday morning at 11 a.m. 2 unboxings. We got That Wrestling Crate and Pro Wrestling Crate from Pro Wrestling Tease, subscriber stories, the PayPal Rumble drawing, and then preview and predictions for NXT TakeOver, San Antonio, and then the Royal Rumble. So it's going to be a big, big show, man. You don't want to miss it, okay? I also want to thank everybody that's continuing to sign up and support the podcast, man, through Audible.com. It doesn't cost you a goddamn fucking dime. It doesn't. If you love what I do here, if you support me and Off the Script and the channel, Audible is sponsoring the podcast from here on out, and they're giving you guys 30 days to try the service for free. And if you want to sign up to tryaudible.com for free, they're going to give you one free audio book just for signing up, man. So all you got to do is, if you guys want to support the podcast, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go get yourself a wrestling book, Chris Jericho, Mick Foley, Daniel Bryan, whoever you guys want to go and check up on, it's there. Bob Holly, it's there, man. Go get yourself an audio book, or if you guys want another genre, maybe you like murder mystery or, fiction, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, that kind of thing. No matter what it is, man, you're going to get one free audio book. You can cancel at any time, and when you do cancel, or if you guys cancel, you get to keep your audio book, man. Available on iPhone, Android, iPad, any Android device, you name it. No matter where you go, you can keep this audio book. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Do it today. Let me know which book you get. Tell me on Twitter, at JD from NY206, and I'll automatically retweet you guys anytime you guys show me what book you're getting from audible.com. So thank you to everybody that signed up for the service. Great way to support the show. Let's talk about this story, man, with Kenny Omega. Did Kenny Omega get out of his New Japan Pro Wrestling contract to make a WWE Royal Rumble appearance? WrestlingNews.co reported and quoted a Q&A session by Kenny Omega on Wednesday. Recently, this was done on Wednesday. This was yesterday with 4Front Wrestling. And to no one's surprise, the first question regarding his future plans was whether he was considering joining the WWE. It's on everybody's fucking lips. That includes a possible appearance in the Royal Rumble this coming Sunday. If some of you guys are subscribers to the WWE Network, says Omega, and you are looking forward to something happening or not happening on the 29th, I'm not sure if I could pull a rabbit out of the hat by that date. That's all I can say for now. That doesn't mean it's impossible. I'm not saying anything. That might be asking too much at this point and time. That's literally the most news I've given anyone up to this point. That's really no news, to be honest with you. End quote. He says that's the most news he's given anybody up until this point. End quote. That's no news. I don't know whether Kenny Omega is trolling, or I don't know whether this is the greatest signing that WWE has done in the last 20 years, man. I don't know. I don't know what is going on with Kenny Omega, but it's definitely got me intrigued. So much that I got another video I'm going to be working on for you guys. I'm going to try and come up with 10 things, but right now, the top 8 scenarios I want to see in the Royal Rumble. And we're going to have fun with that. Kenny Omega is on my list. Whether or not he shows up remains to be seen, but he is definitely on my list, and I would love for him to be at WrestleMania. But regarding his future plans, in the light of his New Japan Pro Wrestling contract coming up on January 31st, Omega said that he's 75% complete to making a decision on where he's going next. Kenny Omega's been the talk of the town ever since that Wrestle Kingdom 11 match with Okada. And now his wrestling career is being talked about by everybody. His New Japan contract is coming to an end, and WWE is certainly very interested in signing Kenny Omega. This has led to many people assuming that he would be part of the WWE before too long. Various sources have confirmed that Kenny Omega's New Japan Pro Wrestling contract should be up at the end of this month. This led many people to believe that he would not be able to take part in WWE's Royal Rumble match this Sunday, like had been rumored and believed by many fans. AJ Styles made his debut last year at the Royal Rumble, and it would make sense to think that this would be the perfect time for Omega to make his debut with the WWE as well. There are a few things that come into play that would make this difficult for WWE. First, if his New Japan contract does indeed expire at midnight on January 31st, the earliest we would see him would be sometime in February. On top of this, we have no idea if Kenny Omega wants to work for the WWE or not. He has made it very well known that he loves Japan and enjoys working for New Japan Pro Wrestling. The difference is, he knows that he will never be New Japan's top guy due to the fact that he is not Japanese. Many felt Omega would clearly sign with New Japan, but when he did not sign a new deal, quickly, many thought something seemed off with that. This made sense to speculate, and everybody has been speculating ever since. According to Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the reason he did not re-sign, as of now, was because they have not assured Kenny Omega that he will be part of the IWGP heavyweight title scene this year. He wants nothing more than a run with the championship, and he has more than earned the right to hold that title as well. Yet New Japan Pro Wrestling cannot possibly give him a run with the championship. Knowing all this, he brought more attention to New Japan in 2016 and early 2017 than it ever had been before his arrival. If one man can do that, the same man should be a top priority to keep and make one of, if not, your main guy at the top of the card. All of this being said, a jump to the WWE for Kenny Omega does not seem as crazy as it once did. The problem came to when he would jump if he was indeed going to make the commitment to go to the WWE over New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Rumble seemed like a perfect time, but his contract issue came about then. That was before Kenny Omega was the top guy on every wrestling podcast out there. On every single one he has taken part in, he was telling the hosts that he was a free agent. This is significant, as he could be saying that he does not plan to sign anywhere, so he's open for negotiation soon. It could also mean that he was simply wanting people to know he is able to work for them now, and that they should be making calls to him or his agent very soon. This has led people to speculate, and even the Wrestling Observer has changed their stance. Dave Meltzer has changed his stance from believing Omega was under contract to the end of the month to believing he could very well have gotten out of his deal early. That's a big deal. If Dave Meltzer is believing that, if Dave Meltzer is feeling that Kenny Omega has gotten out of his contract early, that is a big deal, man. That is a huge deal. Not only for Omega, not only for us, but for the WWE. If he got out of the contract earlier than we all thought, it could be an indication that he is prepared to jump. However, a Royal Rumble appearance for his debut still looks to be unlikely, as Kenny Omega already has been promoted for an event in Chile the same weekend that the Royal Rumble takes place. The event happens Saturday, so he would have to make a huge flight out of the area that same night to make the event on Sunday. I don't find that to be a big deal. I really don't. If Kenny Omega can sit on a bus for fucking 18 hours, right, and go and wrestle and do what he's got to do, making a flight from Chile to San Antonio, I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal for Kenny Omega. So I really wouldn't put that as, you know what, I don't think he's going to come to the Royal Rumble. I don't think he's going to be at the Royal Rumble because he's got an event on Saturday. He can easily fly out, and if the WWE needs him, he better fly out. Or if he signed with WWE, he better fly out. But if he is coming to the WWE and for the Rumble, I don't think that's going to stop Omega from doing anything. Okay? Either this, or he could cancel his appearance last minute, then appear in San Antonio for the Royal Rumble, like many are speculating. As of now, Kenny Omega could easily be under contract with WWE and is not telling anyone. He could also be under contract with New Japan and doing the same thing and not telling anybody. Meanwhile, while trolling everybody under the sun. We will surely be interested this Sunday to see if Omega makes his WWE debut. Don't be upset if he doesn't. However, it's clearly going to be exciting if he does. That is the absolute latest on Kenny Omega. I'm not saying a goddamn word about this, man. I'm really not. I honestly do not know. I honestly do not know. He stated that he's 75% there to making a decision. Would I have Kenny Omega in the Royal Rumble? No. Same thing, I'm going to tell you, like I did last year with AJ Styles. I knew AJ Styles and what he was going to bring to the table as far as talent goes for the WWE. Do I think the WWE wasted AJ Styles' appearance in the Royal Rumble? Yes. It was great when we seen it, but ultimately, in the end, looking back, it was a waste. I would have had AJ debut the night after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw with Gallows and Anderson, and I would have had them pretty much reunite and own Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns just won the WWE Championship from Triple H. I would have had the club really make an impactful statement and sabotage Monday Night Raw as the show goes off the air. Not only attacking the newly crowned champion, but AJ Styles has come from Japan, come back to the States to take over the WWE like he did New Japan as a foreigner, and now he's in WWE for the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns, I am here for what you just won at WrestleMania. And I would have that build week after week after week until Roman Reigns was honestly on the cusp of being beaten down. He would not be able to handle the brutal attacks by Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles week after week. And this was before the brand split. I would have had Roman Reigns enlist Seth Rollins, and I would have had Roman Reigns enlist Dean Ambrose. And you could have had matches going back and forth between all 6 of those guys. You could have had tag team matches between Gallows and Anderson, and Rollins and Ambrose, or Reigns and any mixture of the three. You know, singles matches between them. We could have seen Rollins versus Styles on Raw, or Ambrose versus Styles early on Raw. We could have seen Rollins versus Anderson, Reigns versus Gallows. A nice mixture of things with storyline behind it. And that's what I would have did, which would eventually have led to a massive 3-on-3 elimination match, or if you want, a 4-on-4 elimination match. I would have brought the War Games match back specifically for that, or you could have did it at Survivor Series in the traditional way that WWE does their elimination matches. Have it be at Survivor Series. That would have taken WWE not only through the summer, but through the fall as well. And in between there, Styles would have gotten his chance for the WWE Championship. He wouldn't have done it. You know, he wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't have beat Roman Reigns in the end. But Styles and the club would have looked fucking blood hungry. And they would have looked so much better than they do now. Gallows and Anderson anyway. Styles, you know, he looks great, but WWE does things here and there with his character. You know, disrespect here and there. They're not really featuring AJ Styles as they should as their main champion. But that could have really led to another storyline, and we could have seen Finn Balor and AJ Styles kind of mix it up after that Shield Club thing was done. Balor could have gotten the way, and being that Gallows and Anderson, you know, they're there with Styles and they couldn't get it done. They couldn't take the title from Reigns. They couldn't beat the Shield. Gallows and Anderson kick Styles out, and they enlist Balor as their new leader. So Styles would turn face, and then Balor would turn heel. The Balor Club would be formed, and then we get AJ Styles on his own against Balor and the club. And that would lead to Styles versus Balor at WrestleMania. That was my original plan. That's what I would have did. Now, if you really want to kind of rectify that, and the fact that WWE did not do that, I would have Kenny Omega omitted from the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't even be talking about Kenny Omega in the Royal Rumble. Kenny Omega is bigger than the Royal Rumble right now. You don't need him to go in there with the likes of Lesnar and The Undertaker and Goldberg and Strowman and all these other fucking WWE giants. You don't need him going in there and not winning it. What is it going to do if Kenny Omega is in the Rumble, he comes out late, he's going to be what? He's going to be the guy that does not win it, and your appearance is going to be wasted. I'd rather have Kenny Omega come out and make a bigger impact for a brand specifically and give that fucking shot of momentum to a brand instead of giving it to the Royal Rumble that already is loaded with fucking talent. So much that people are saying this is the most stacked Rumble in the history of the event. You do not need a Kenny Omega at all. And we only have 22 guys announced for the Royal Rumble. That's not including the possible debut of Samoa Joe on the main roster. That's not including a Ty Dillinger. That's not including a possible Shelton Benjamin return. That's not including maybe a Bubba Ray Dudley coming back as Bully Ray. I don't know. Kurt Angle's being discussed and talked about and rumored and speculated. So you don't need a Kenny Omega. You know? You don't need a Kenny Omega. I'd rather him come, if he is coming, to a brand, SmackDown, and I would rather have him come to SmackDown to stare down AJ Styles. Now, if you really want to get creative with it, I would have him just go to NXT. I would have Kenny Omega go to NXT. I'd have him show up. At NXT TakeOver San Antonio. I would have Nakamura beat Bobby Roode for the title, which I do see happening. And then at the end of the match, the lights go out. Kenny Omega is fucking standing there in his Terminator mask with a fucking shotgun pointing at the ring. And that's the way they go off the fucking air. That's the way they go. Can you imagine that? That Shinsuke Nakamura beats Bobby Roode, which I fully expect him to do. And I'll discuss this more on Off the Script. Nakamura beats Bobby Roode. And Nakamura retains the title. And at the end of the show, people are thinking Chris Hero is going to come out. People speculating that Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno, is going to be the next challenger for Shinsuke Nakamura. No. If WWE did indeed sign Kenny Omega, I think that's where his worth is going to be first. That's where I think it's going to be. Because Kenny Omega, before you even put him on the main roster, I believe that Omega is a guy and has the makeup to replace John Cena as the top guy. And I mentioned this on the show before. The way he articulates himself, the way he's well-spoken, the way he carries himself, the way he's respectful. I think Kenny Omega is that top of the mountain type of guy for WWE. Whether they want to believe it or not, he doesn't need to be born and bred WWE. He is the guy that could replace John Cena. He's got the total fucking package. Charisma, looks. I could see Omega on Good Morning America. I could see Omega on the Today Show. He's that type of guy. He really is. And he's got everything in the ring to back up what it truly means to be an in-ring talent. And what you need to be the best in this industry. Omega has it all. He really does. I think his worth is in NXT. And if Nakamura beats Roode, I would have Nakamura stand in the ring victorious, lights go out in San Antonio, and Omega is staring at him with the Terminator mask right there on the ramp, pointing to him, and that's your next feud for WrestleMania 33 weekend. Omega versus Nakamura for the NXT World title. Nakamura would lose. Nakamura would get promoted to SmackDown. And that's the end of that. Kenny Omega can go on to carrying NXT through 2017. And by the end of 2017, you line up the next guy to take that belt off Omega, being that he carried that brand. He toured with the brand as the number one guy. You promote him at the end of the fucking year. And by that time, you would have Gallows and Anderson drafted to SmackDown. There would be another draft. You would have Gallows and Anderson moved from Raw to SmackDown to join AJ Styles. And meanwhile, while Omega is owning NXT and carrying and leading that brand, the reformation of the Bullet Club with Styles, Gallows, and Anderson are on SmackDown trying to regain the WWE Championship on SmackDown Live. And they're going about it in a way that they should have done on Monday Night Raw when AJ Styles first debuted last year. Okay? And meanwhile, while Omega's on NXT and the Bullet Club is really, regenerating and fucking, and is rejuvenated and just owning SmackDown, trying to get the WWE Championship back, by the end of the year, when Omega comes up to the main roster, who are you going to feud him with? Who are you going to feud him with? It's already there. You got the fucking Bullet Club already aligned with Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. Easy fit right on SmackDown. Kenny Omega can come to SmackDown, and he's back to take over the Bullet Club from AJ Styles. You're a fraud leader. You're not the leader of the Bullet Club or the club. I am. And by that time, maybe AJ Styles is the WWE champion, you know? And Kenny Omega is back. He wants not only leadership, but he wants Styles, and he wants the WWE championship. They could have fun with it, man. They really have a lot of different things that they could do. Putting him in the Royal Rumble is nothing but a 15-minute pop. People are going to remember it for that night, and nobody's going to talk about it. You know? It's not going to have a lasting impression. They'll talk about it on Monday Night Raw. It'll be talked about for the next couple of days following the Rumble after it's settled down, but who really is going to remember that? You want him to make an impression on a brand. You really want to have him as a leader for a brand instead of being amongst everybody where the possibility is great that he's going to get lost in the shuffle. That's what I would do with Kenny Omega, man. That's what I would do. Instead of in the Rumble, put him on NXT, have him in San Antonio, have him confront Shinsuke Nakamura as the show goes off the air. You would generate so much fucking buzz that NXT has lost over the last couple of months with Omega and Nakamura staring each other down at the end of that show. It would really clean up everything that WWE lost with NXT over the last couple of months. That's what I do. That's an impact. That's what people are going to be talking about. And putting him in the Rumble, I don't think it's going to have the same effect as if you put him on NXT. And then you build and build and build. He leads that brand. You bring him to the main roster. His first feud is AJ Styles. He wins the title from AJ Styles. Next WrestleMania, you do the match that John Cena wants. Kenny Omega versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. Main eventing WrestleMania, and Kenny Omega would retain. He would main event WrestleMania. He would be the champion coming out of WrestleMania, and there's your new top guy right there. Done. Done. That's what I would do. That's my plan. That's my blueprint for Kenny Omega. But what do you guys think? Will he be at the Royal Rumble? Will he be in San Antonio? Will he be the next guy that WWE has scooped up from New Japan, but this time the face of the company, possibly, for WWE, man? Let me know what you guys think about everything that I just said. I like it. I like it a lot, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments of this video, man. Unbelievable stuff with Kenny Omega. Looking very much forward to seeing what happens. If not, the 29th, the 31st is on everybody's fucking calendar, man. It's circled in big red marker. What is going to happen with Kenny Omega? I'll definitely let you guys know. As soon as anything breaks, I will let you guys know right here on the podcast, man. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hit that thumbs up. audibletrial.com/offthescript for your 30-day free trial of the service plus one free audiobook of your choice. Follow me on Twitter at JD206. And I'll see you guys on Friday for Off the Script Royal Rumble edition. Huge episode coming up on Friday. You don't want to miss it. I'm JD, and I'll see you all on Friday morning at 11.